Hello, I do not recommend today's walk. Both of the Munros climbed in today's walk would be far easier and safer climbing separately. I've included links to both individual routes below, but that said, if you're an experienced walker and don't suffer from agoraphobia, then this is one way to complete both of these Munros in a single day. The total distance for this walk is 37 kilometres with 1523 metres of ascent. I used a bike for the start and the end of the walk, shaving 11 kilometres off the walk in total. After you leave the first summit, you have about 11 kilometres of a walk without any path to follow. This takes you to the second summit and then back down towards where I left the bike. This section could be very difficult to navigate in thick cloud. There are two car parks you can use. The Glen Tilt car park is closer to the mountains, but last time I used this car park they did not permit overnight parking. So I used the Blair Atholl Visitor Centre car park about 1 kilometre away. Both car parks are free with no height restrictions, and there is space for around 50 cars across both of the car parks. It's around 90 minutes drive from both Glasgow and Edinburgh to Blair Atholl. Here is the normal route for Càrn Aquamem, and here is the route for Beinn Dearg. And now we have the route that I've taken for today's walk. The crossing between the two tops is around about 8 kilometres, the start of which is on a path. And then the descent down here and down this valley is about another 7 kilometres without a path. So having said that, I'll describe the route that I took on the day. So I started from the Visitor Centre car park using my bike, and I left the car park and turned to the right. There are a number of paths shown on the map here, but I struggled to find them on the day. And also this path here, the gates are locked early in the morning, so you can't go through the park here. So the easiest way is to turn to your right, cross it back over the bridge, then go down to your left and follow the road. You'll come up to a little group of houses, you turn down to the left, cross over the bridge and then follow the road, and this takes you to the Glen Tilt car park here. From there you do a sharp turn, double back on yourself to the right and go up through the woods here, and you're rising uphill a little bit here, and just continue to follow that road. It's a gravel road, it undulates as it goes through the woods. It's nothing too difficult, and you'll keep following that, and it's going to descend down here and cross over the river again. It goes up a little steep hill to start with here and then flattens off. Keep following that road as it goes through the woods. It'll start to descend slightly, and then you cross a cattle grid here and you'll see an old stone bridge. This is where I left my bike. When I looked at the map, this was the easiest way to come back down. This river is quite broad, so you can't cross the river easily. So I thought about leaving the bike up here and you cross over, but it's not an easy river to cross. So the safer option was to leave the bike back down at this stone bridge. So from there, you continue along this gravel road. It's a nice road to walk along, and just keep following that road. It'll cross over the bridge here. You'll see there's a path here. This is the route Walk Highlands recommends, but there's quite a lot of up and down on that path. I did that last time. Easier to walk along the road. You'll just come to here, there's a red steel bridge. When you see that bridge, just after the bridge you want to turn off to your left and then go up through the heather. It's quite a narrow path, but it's easy enough to follow. Fairly steep to start with, and it just makes its way up. It joins up with a 4x4 off-road track at some point further up, and that road, it's not shown on the map here, but that road itself splits off. So when you see that split, you just want to keep going straight ahead. There's a 4x4 road that goes off to the left. Just keep making your way up the ridge of the mountain. The detailed map here shows the option where the gravel road continues up to the right hand side of the ridge. This way is less steep, so it's a bit longer but less of a gradient to climb, and it's actually easier to navigate and follow. And then the path itself goes up to the left. This path, I think I missed the start properly. You'll see it in the video. I had to join back up a little bit over to the left. Either of those two routes will take you to the summit. Once you get on that path properly, it's easy enough to follow. A little bit of boggy section around here. So you make your way up. You'll join back up to the gravel road, follow the gravel road for a little bit. You can actually cut off a little bit earlier than what's shown in the map here. But if you keep going up, there's a large cairn. You turn to your left and make your way up. This last section is quite steep to the summit. It's quite a pointy little summit from when you're approaching it from the south. So for this walk, I went back down onto the gravel road. The gravel road itself is a lot less clear and less used once it gets past the summit cairn. Follow that road a little bit further. It's going to fade away. There are a couple of little cairns from time to time. Then a little bit further on, it gets a bit easier to spot. The cloud cleared up as I was descending down here, and you can see the route just cutting by the side of this little small summit. So you walk along the side here, bend a little bit to your right, but you're not going to go down that ridge. So you go down a little bit and then bend to your left, and you're aiming over here where you can see the river. It's a bit lower down here, This is about the highest point where the river is, so you want to aim for that bit. You don't want to go right up over the top of this summit, so I chose to go to the right hand side. You could go to the left hand side, but this is about 100 metres higher up than the right hand side. It's an easy enough climb up this grassy heather bank. It's not too steep, so it's quite easy to get up there. Once you get up to the top here, it does get quite peaty, and it's not bad peat bogs, but it's a little bit rough going. You make your way around. It actually drops off here more than it looks on the map, so you want to keep to your left, and then you can cross over the Beinn and go over to the other side. And I was just trying to keep to the same altitude. I wasn't trying to go up or down, because you could easily go straight across here and lose some altitude. Again, this whole section is quite peat boggy, so I was keeping away from that. And once you get farther around, you then bend a little bit more to your left, and with any luck you can actually see the summit from this point, and you just make your way up. It's a gradual climb, it's not too steep, it's not difficult. I probably came up just a little bit to the right of the summit. There's a bit more rocks here, nothing difficult, but it's easier just to go up a little bit to the right, and you make your way to the second top. There you can see the main path, which is really easy to follow. If I had taken that path, it'd take you all the way back down here. And if I wanted to get back to the bike, which was here, you have to go through the rifle range. The rifle range, they don't shoot every weekend, but they were shooting the day I was there. So I would have had to go around the rifle range, back down to here, and then back up to get back to the bike. It's probably about 5 kilometres longer than the route I took. So returning to the summit, you're going to head almost directly east, just slightly south of east. It was clear, so I could easily see where I wanted to go. I was trying not to go up this top here. There are steep crags on the eastern side of that top. So I was descending down here and going round, aiming for the end of the valley here. So just contouring round, going down, following the stream, because the worst case I could go down the gorge and go down the actual river, although I didn't really want to get my feet wet because it's a long walk back. Now this side here is very steep, so you have to be careful as you're making your way around there. It was even steeper at the bottom, so I came around just a little bit above the river as I was coming down there. Once it opens up, it's not bad at all. There's some deer tracks that you can follow for the most part, and you just make your way down. You keep following those deer tracks, and there's many deer tracks, so you just following the river, making your way down. Gets near to the end, you don't want to continue down here. It gets quite a steep gorge, as you can see by the contours, so you want to rise up on your left hand side and contour around and aim to get to the top of this path here. There is a path that ends in the middle of nowhere, so you can join that path. The path goes down and crosses over here, but there's also paths going straight ahead, so I thought I'd give that a try, and it was actually quite easy to descend down this. Fairly steep, but the path zigzags, comes down to the river, easy to cross. Another little steep section to climb up the other side, and then you're back onto a path on the other side, and then from there it's a really easy walk back down to where the bike is. You go past these little derelict ruins, join up the main path that is shown on Walk Highlands to go to the first Munro, and at that point you turn to your right, cross a bridge, and you're following this path. It goes up and down as it goes alongside the river, comes back up through the woods, eventually comes down to a large gate. You go through the gate, double back to your left, cross over the bridge, got back on the bike, and then just followed the gravel road, same route that I took in the morning, returned all the way back down to where the Glen Tilt car park is, crossed back over the bridge, and then back down to the visitor centre car park. The difficult sections are the areas without a path. This is a long section going down here, and this bit being really steep, a slip here could have been quite dangerous. So that's the bit to be careful of, and navigating down here and across and round that in heavy cloud could be quite difficult. And with that, we'll go to the video from the walk. Good morning, it's 6:30. I'm at the Blair Atholl Visitor Centre car park for the start of today's cycle and walk. So when you leave the car park, just turn to the right, go back over the bridge and follow the road on the left. At this junction you head left, following the sign to the Glen Tilt car park. I'm at the main car park for Glen Tilt. You can park here. I just recall there being signs up saying they didn't want people to sleep overnight, so I just parked at the visitor centre. From here you cross the road, go up that track there through the woods. If you're going to do the 2 Munros, this is the point where I've chosen to leave my bike. If you're only going to do the first one, you can continue up this road a fair bit further before you actually go into the mountain, and then leave your bike and then just come back down, which would be a bit easier. I'm going to combine both Munros in this area, so I'm going to go up and do this one, then go across to the left, do the second one, come back down an unmarked valley, there's no track shown, and then join up with a path further down, which brings me out eventually on the opposite side of that bridge there. So that's why I've left the bike here. It's about a 26-kilometre walk. So from here, just continue up the gravel road. There's a nice easy indicator of where the path leaves the gravel road. It's just after this bridge. It would be quite easy just to keep walking along the road, it's quite a nice walk, but we want to cross the bridge and then follow the track up the heather here on the left. And right here you can see the track go up through the heather. It's a nice easy path to follow all the way to the summit. Yeah, it's a very steep section to begin with. Starting to ease off a little bit now. And there's a lot of midges out. Thin cloud at the moment, that should clear up, hopefully by the time I get there. If you're a keen mountain biker, especially if you've got one of those electric mountain bikes, you can cycle all the way to the summit for this one. And now that we've joined the 4x4 track, you want to take the one that's on the right, not the grassier one on the left. That's 2 hours into the walk. There's 4 kilometres to go to the summit and about 500 metres of altitude. Summit looks like it might be clear. That cloud looks closer to me than the actual summit. When you come to this cairn on the left hand side, we're going to leave the gravel road. It's a more direct approach to the summit. It just cuts out. There's a bit of a dog leg to the right there where the gravel track goes. It's probably less steep, but this is more direct. I think I probably missed the proper turn off. That cairn was after it. The path I was on over there just faded away to nothing. So I double checked the GPS. I had to bend over to the left. This is much clearer to follow. At this point you join back up to that gravel trail, so you can follow that if you wish. It's about 250 metres walking distance to the summit now. We go up here a little bit and then we've got to turn left. The summit's just up there on the left. I can see a gravel path going right up the front of it there. So you can either follow this trail on a little bit to the cairn, then turn left. I'm just going to go left just now and go up this front. I'm at the summit of Càrn Aquachem. The weather report is supposed to be clear just now. Wind's picked up. It's taken just over 3 hours to get to the summit. If you're only doing this top, then you simply retrace your steps back all the way back down to the car park, and you would be able to cycle a good bit further up as well, so it would take even less time to get to the summit. Easily here and back to the car park in 5 hours with a bike. From here it's 7.5 kilometres, and you start northwest then directly west to Beinn Dearg. It's about the shortest distance from anywhere to get to the summit. If you go from the car park, it's a full day walk. Should take about 3 hours to get there, and then a further 2.5 hours from that summit back down to where the bike is. Going a bit cross country and then joining up a trail that's further down that valley I talked about earlier. I'm going to head from the summit directly north back down to that gravel track, and then head northwest, so turn left and follow the gravel track as far as you can follow it. It will fade away at that point. You're just going to follow the contours and take the easiest route down to there's a little stream that joins between this top and the next one. For a brief moment I could see some scenery. Clearing up a little bit. So we'll head off northwest. So I've joined back up to that gravel path. Clearly not as well used now that we're past the summit. So you just want to keep an eye on where you're going. Head in the northwesterly direction to start with. Little cairn here, another one over there. The path, or the gravel road is pretty much faded away to nothing now. Want to keep going along this ridge. It's quite a broad ridge. It bends a little bit to the left at this point. Get to the next little top. Does make it a lot easier once this cloud gets blown away. So you can just see the wee small top directly ahead. That's where I'm aiming for. And then from there I'm going to brake to the right and descend. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first person to think about doing this. And looking ahead, I can see a path going across on the right hand side of the summit, and that's the direction I want to go. So we're not going to go right to the top of that little hillock there. We will go round to the right. It's a bit windy. From here we're following this track along to that ridge line there where you can see all the rocks. Go down a little bit to the right, and then kind of where that pointy bit is, we'll go off to the left down towards the river. And at that point I'll show the other side and mark out the route on the opposite side. We're going to go up over there into the clouds again. But if you go round to the right hand side, it's a little bit less ascent than going straight across the middle. Not the best weather today. The summit is almost clear over there. And it's meant to rain at times. Hopefully we will avoid the worst of it. So you can see the summit of Beinn Dearg is in cloud at the moment. And to get there, we need to go either over or around that little hill that's in front of it. You can go to the left hand side or the right hand side. The right hand side is lower. If you go on the left hand side, you've got to go up and then descend again, then go up Beinn Dearg. If you go around the right hand side, just above where that little cairn is in the background, it's a bit of a boggy section, a peat bog section, but I've crossed over there before, so it's definitely not impassable. And I had a camping pack on that day, so light pack today, so it should be a lot easier. So we're going to go around here, it's kind of descend straight ahead, and then bend off to the left and up that towards that boggy section, round the back of that hill there. You go round the right hand side, but not up onto the ridge line in the cloud there, just go straight up. We'll see how that goes. Fairly easy track to follow up to this point. I'm going to go down towards the stream down there. You can see it at the bottom of this valley. I'll probably just head straight across. I don't want to go up the middle there. I want to go up the right hand side, but it's probably straight ahead up onto that ridge and then curve round with it. There's some brighter weather on the left, and that's where the wind's coming from. Hopefully it'll clear up by the time I get there. It's a difficult ground to cover, very tussocky, lumpy grass, a bit harder on your knees and your ankles. I'm aiming down towards the river straight ahead, then cross over and then go up onto the ridge, probably on the ridge line just beneath that summit over there. Don't want to go too far to the left because then you'll gain too much altitude. At the same time, you don't want to go too far to the right because you're going away from the actual summit, which is behind, straight ahead. I'm getting closer to the stream. It also seems if you were to go directly down across there to the left, it seems a little bit lower down than this bit on the right hand side. I'm going to cross the stream, make my way up. There's a sort of white rock you can see. That white rock is roughly where I'm going to aim up that bit of the slope to the ridge. You can see the ridge is quite level above there, so I'm just aiming up to that point. So I just had to make my way up the river a little bit. It's less than 6 inches deep all the way across here. Looks like there's a shallow bit up ahead as well. So from here, directly up to the skyline, you can probably see that white rock. Just going to aim straight for that, up and over. I'm almost onto the ridge. I'm going to bend a little bit to the right. I don't want to gain much more altitude. I want to curve round the ridge line here on the right, then back to the left. It is quite a boggy, peaty section. You'll see it better when I get slightly further up. Càrn Dearg is clear. From here I'm aiming to the low point, just where that rocky outcrop is. So just to the left of that rocky bit. The last time I did this walk, I camped just there. Just in that little bit. There's plenty of water around here. As long as you've got your filter, you'll be fine. And the wind was coming the same direction, straight ahead, which is why I camped just down behind the little top there. It's not bad just now. It's just gone 11 o'clock. I'm keeping to the left of this little bielach and then I'll cross across the top of it. So head into that rock you can see sort of in the middle, and then cross over to the right hand side. Just make my way up and across the hillside there. Gets a bit boggy and peaty in the middle, so I want to cross right about somewhere around there, and then you just diagonally make your way up to the summit. Coming back down, we're going to come down the same slope but on the left hand side and go around this hill here on the left. From here I want to go straight ahead. I'm trying to avoid losing any altitude, keeping above the worst of the bog section. For the descent, I'm going to come down that boggy section. I'm going to aim for that valley there, and then about halfway down the valley the map shows a path. Yeah, so there's quite a lot that There is no path to follow. It can be very difficult to navigate, especially if the cloud comes in. And it's hard to walk over, rough and uneven ground. At the summit of Beinn Dearg. It's quite windy up here. Just going to try and sit down, get out of the wind. You can see the first summit, Càrn, and then behind it, the high one, that's Beinn Dearg in the darkness. From the summit, I'm going to head directly southeast. I'm aiming for the top of that valley, or that gorge you can see ahead. Stand up, I mean, it gets really windy. We're going to go down and cross over that bog, to the top of that gully, and then head down to the right. Take me straight down. Should join the path down there. Just descended that rocky section, a little bit tricky. The rocks, they're good and grippy rocks, but just a bit awkward to walk over and climb down between. So now we're onto the moor and the bog. It's 10 kilometres back to where the bike is. When you look at it on the map, it doesn't really look that far, but it is a bit of a walk. About 850 metres or so of descent. So we'll see how this goes. It's the first time I've tried this descent route. So far so good. This ground is easier to walk on than the bit coming across from the other Munro. And if I look directly ahead, I can see a green patch going through the peat. Takes me straight to the top of the valley there, or the top of the gorge. Looking not too bad at this point. This section of it is a bit rougher. Not really had a lot of issues with the peat so far. I'm just going to go down there, straight ahead to the top of this valley and then turn. And all you've got to do is follow the river down. It's hard to tell from the map how good the terrain will be, but at least about halfway down, or maybe 3/4 of the way down, there's a path that you can join. And then it'll be easy enough to get back to where the bike is. Found a cairn in the middle of nowhere. I don't think it's going in the direction I want because I can see another cairn over there. It's probably a route up onto that summit. So I want to go straight ahead. I just need to be cautious because this gets quite steep, so I want to stay close to the river. Some of this is not great. You can see it's quite a steep gorge we've got here. On the map it looks like once you just get up there about 100 or 150 metres it opens out a bit and it's much easier to walk down. So just take a bit of care going around the edge if you're doing this. Four more kilometres off-road until we get to the path that's on the map. Then about another 3 kilometres to where the bike is. Probably going to go down here on the left hand side. It's a bit rough at the moment, but hopefully it gets a little bit easier going further down. There's a massive herd of deer up ahead. This is a deer path I'm walking along. It's not too bad. Sometimes a bit rough. Won't be too long before we get onto the actual track. I'm currently at the same altitude as the top of the path that's on the map, but that is round the corner. It's about a kilometre further down the valley. So I really want to cross over onto the other side. Can't see any form of path just now, so I don't want to descend too much, but I want to go along the other side and traverse round on the left. a random unmarked bridge. Directly ahead is Càrn on Beinn Dearg, and the path I'm looking for is just in that sort of ridge. You can see that it's lit up and it's a bit darker behind it, just there. Yeah, it's a nice afternoon. A bit too many flies and horse flies around here for my liking. Need to keep moving. I'm on a track just now, probably another deer track. The path is about 200 metres away maybe, and then it zigzags down straight ahead and then joins up to the path you can see across there. This track I'm on goes straight forward down here, but the actual route I was looking for, the track on the map, is just a little bit off to the left now. And it should go round and then cross over onto that path over there. I think I'll just go down this one. I think I'll just continue down here, and okay, there'll be a little bit of descent to go over. There's a river down there and then back up the other side to join the path again. But it's quite a detour to go round to the side. Descending down here is fine. You can see the path on the other side. We just need to go up that little bit back to about the same altitude that I'm at just now, and we'll join the path on the other side. Looking directly back up the valley that we just came down. So you can see it's clear you need to take a high line around there. A little bit further on we'll join back onto that path I was on earlier, and then that's the easy route to follow back down to the stone bridge where the bike is. You're going to come to some ruins of a little settlement. Just go past that and then you'll join onto the path. Once you get to that, you turn to your right. And here we're at the main path. That one takes you to the start of the Munro we did at the beginning of the day. And this one takes you back to the car park. But for me, I'm going to turn down and go over the bridge and get the bike back. So once you come through that gate, you want to turn to your left, and you can actually see the bridge over there. Bike's just at the other side. If that red flag is up, that means that the rifle range is in use and this road is closed anyway. I've come through the rifle range. It's a bit more up and down. It's actually easier just to walk along the road here. That last section of the walk is quite nice, through the woodland and the ferns. So you could come over the stone bridge, then go up there. Anyway, through this gate and over the bridge. So I'm back at the bike. Just got the final cycle out on this gravel trail. A little bit of up and down and back down to the car park. It's just the same way that I came in. From here you head right. That's me back at the visitor centre car park. The time is 4:30, so it's exactly 10 hours for the cycle and walk. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I look forward to showing you more in the next one. Bye for now.